Okay, let's get started. And before we jump into the question and the topic for today, I'll have Eddie introduce himself and Mandiri Capital. And he'll be sharing more a bit about what Mandiri Capital is and what he's looking out for. Eddie, please.
Thank you. Selamat pagi. Good morning, everybody. Who here has heard of Mandiri Capital? Okay, some of you are my friends, so that doesn't really count. Some of you are connected on LinkedIn. Okay. So for those who don't know us yet, Mandiri Capital is the corporate VC owned 100% by Bank Mandiri, which is Indonesia's largest bank by assets, also a state-owned bank. So we are actually the first corporate VC owned by a bank in Indonesia. We are 18 months, almost 2 years old, and our mandate is to invest in startups. Admittedly now only fintech, but maybe a couple of years from now we can expand to other verticals. Okay, so I guess some of you may be asking, why did Bank Mandiri, a very traditional bank, set up a corporate VC arm? I mean, the reality is that all banks, not only Bank Mandiri, but all banks throughout the world are being disrupted by fintech startups. So we have not many options as a traditional bank. We can wait until we continue to get disrupted by fintech startups, or we direct competition with them, or we collaborate by investing and growing together. So this is what we're trying to do as a corporate VC. We invest and we work together with the fintech startups. Like I said, we're almost 2 years old. We have 7 startups that we've invested in throughout the region. We have $40 million assets under management. I think we've deployed soon will be about 60% of that. So if any of you are fintech startups, feel free to have a chat later.
Okay, maybe by a show of hands, how many of you guys are fintech startups here? Anyone? Okay, I see a couple of hands. So let's jump into our topic for today. Our topic for today is how to measure the portfolio, the success of your portfolio. So maybe the first question I would ask Eddie is, so why should startups care and bother about how VCs measure the success of their portfolio?
Actually, I'm gonna throw this one back at Yasmin also, because here both of us are both VCs. We come from different perspective or different type of venture capitalists. Yasmin comes from, Quest is a, correct me if I'm wrong, commercial VC, managing investors' money in a GPLP structure, if I'm not correct. If I'm not wrong, you can jump in. While we are a corporate VC, the difference being that we don't have LPs, we don't have investors, only one, which is our corporate parent. So we invest on balance sheet. So every year or every couple of years, I have to go to my bosses at the bank and say, I've run out of money. I need more money to invest in startups. Okay, but then show me what you've invested in and how we help company. So that's a bit different. I'll let Jasmine share a little bit from the commercial VC perspective.
Okay, so from a commercial VC's perspective, the main objective for a VC is to return money to their LPs. So be it as versus a corporate VC where it's primarily focused on strategic investments as Mandiri Capital. For us as a commercial VC, the most important metric for us would be IRR. And back onto the question on why should VCs care about how each different VCs value the success of their portfolio. Because, for example, if you're a fintech startup and you know that there's a big corporate here, Mandiri Capital only focuses on fintech startups, you need to know each VC's area of interest and also whether you as a startup fit into their strategic investments, and also whether you're able to contribute to their portfolio company success. By knowing how a VC thinks and by knowing what are some of the metrics that they track, you're able to cater the pitch more to what the VC would like to hear, which will then increase the chances of success for your portfolio funding.
Let me ask you this. What's your target? What are your target returns that you promise to your investors?
Well, so based on targeted returns, ideally everyone would expect as much as possible. But knowing that VC is a pretty risky asset class, the average return for a VC would be about 2 to 3x a return on the original fund. And how about for
how many years?
This would be over a standard fund life of 7 years with the option of renewing for 1 or 2 years. It varies slightly from each commercial VC, but generally the fund life is 7 years. And for this part, okay, for Mandiri Capital, maybe how long would it take and how long would his bosses expect a return, if any?
Yeah, so this is, don't tell my bosses that I said this. Well, I had a discussion, and this is actually a continuous discussion. And I say, we should invest in this startup, it's good, traction is good, we can exit in 3-5 years, we can make 3x or 5x, and my bosses look at me and say, I don't care. I mean, any fine startups don't focus on the returns. For those of you who know the banking industry in Indonesia is very healthy. Net interest margin is about 6%. So banks make good return in Indonesia. And Bank Mandiri is also very profitable, relatively speaking. This year on track to be 20 trillion rupiah profit. So my boss is like, we can find returns and profit from the banks. What the corporate venture capital needs to do, the mandate is to find innovation, to find startups that can bring new platforms, new way of thinking into the bank and help the bank change positively, positive disruption. Not immediately, but let's say 5, 10 or 15 years. So it's a long-term thing. Meaning also that because of that, if Jasmine has a time horizon, let's say, of 7 years, we don't have those restrictions. We may continue investing even more than 10 years, theoretically. I'm not saying that's always going to happen, but if we like a startup and it's bringing positive innovation and disruption into the bank, we may not exit, we may just stay there. Unless, of course, there's an IPO and everybody has to exit. It's a different story. But for a corporate VC, the difference between us and commercial VCs are that it's less on return, more on what synergies and innovation that the startup can bring to the parent company.
Okay, maybe next let's jump into some KPIs for measurement of success. Well, success generally it's a very broad term, so we first break it down into KPIs. So Eddie, could you share some of the KPIs of Mandiri Capital?
For example, how many business units at the bank uses or synergizes with the startup? And Mandiri is a big bank, it's a big group. It's not only the business unit, but we also have 12 subsidiaries in our perusahaan. 12 subsidiaries in insurance and finance and capital markets and so forth. So not only having the bank, but also the subsidiaries. So one is how many business units use that. Two, is there an increase in revenue, profit, or efficiency that the startup will help the business unit. So that needs to happen even before we issue a term sheet to a startup. We need to know which business unit will be helped by this particular startup and sign a pilot contract from the beginning. So that's, I guess, some of the KPIs.
Okay, in recent times and especially in tech in Asia news, many startups report their fundraising rounds of raising X dollars, 10 million USD at a Series A round. And fundraising has also been taken as a measure for success. But in your opinion, why do you think fundraising is so important as compared to business fundamentals such as profitability and cash flow?
It's a good question. I think from the perspective of startup, successful fundraising gives a signal to the market that it's a product validation. Obviously, the product works. Second, it's a business model validation, meaning that either first revenue and then profitability will come. So I think that's very important. A successful fundraising, whether it's seed to Series A to Series B and onwards, is very important. Now, I guess you may not know, or you may know that in Southeast Asia there is a Series B crunch. There's not many Series B fundraising at the moment in the market. So a lot of startups have gone from C to Series A, and then nothing. Either they die, which is not uncommon, or they get bought up or collaborate with other startups, or a conglomerate or a company buys them out 100%. And so they no longer need to do a Series B. But it's very important to kind of track this, because not only because you need money for your runway, but it's a signal to the market. That's why a lot of startups, when they successfully fundraise, the first thing they do is to call the media and say, we've done a fundraise. And there's nothing wrong with that. In most cases, we prefer to be a bit low-key, but we work together with the startups and how to manage this press release.
Okay, and in addition to that, exits are also one of the measures of success. So exits via IPO or M&A. So according to a recent Tech in Asia article, it's reported that there are only 13 exits since 2001 for tech startups in Southeast Asia. So on this note, Eddie, what's your view on the exit landscape in Southeast Asia, specifically Indonesia?
Again, still not as developed as we want to be. No startups in Indonesia have done a successful IPO on the main board. There are actually two this year, recently, that IPO startups, Johnson and MCAT, but they are on the secondary board. Again, nothing wrong with that. My friends steps out, congrats to them. But on the main board, not yet. Even in Singapore, you also have the main board and you have Catalyst, which is the secondary board.
Yep, that's right.
So I think startups have to be a little bit more open to options. If you can't IPO on the main board, then look at the secondary board. If not, we look overseas. I mean, there are other courses also. Or strategic sale. At the end of the day, you do have to exit. Not because the founders need to monetize. The VCs need to monetize also. Jasmine has LP, so her job is much more difficult than mine, because I only have one LP, which is a parent company. The LPs, after 7 years, they will be asking, where's my money, where's my money? I invested in your fund 7 years ago. It's all stuck in 15, 10, or 20 startups. How do I get my money back? So exit strategy is very important. So when you do your startups, you also have to plan ahead so that you know how long you need to exit. If it's 3 years, great. 5 years, okay. 7 still acceptable. But if it's 10 years, you reach profitability and then you try to exit, and maybe it's too long for VCs. You can't wait that long.
So where are some of the likely exits you see for your portfolio companies, and how long do you think it would take?
We don't have a cookie cutter approach. It's not one size fits all. But for the startups that we invest in, we would like to see hopefully some profitability within a 3 to 5 year time horizon. And then after that, we can talk about exit after 5 years. But we are not really big believers in burning cash, unless it's the product development and entering new markets. But burning cash just for the sake of burning cash, maybe the business model needs to be relooked. The difference being that in fintech, I can only speak for fintech, I think that's not to speak for other verticals. Fintech is a bit different. I'm not saying that fintech is better, by all means, that's not what I'm saying. It's because fintech, the startups generally are older. Because very rarely, I go to campuses a lot throughout the region. I go to campuses, looking for startups, incubators and such. Very rarely do I meet a fintech startup from the campuses. Why? Because they haven't been in the market. They don't see the opportunity. They don't know what problem they're trying to solve yet. Very different from, let's say, Mark Zuckerberg had created Facebook from his dorm room, or some B2B marketplace startups that also originated from the campus. Fintech is a bit different because it's more regulated also. So most fintech startups are actually ex-bankers or ex-IT vendors that serve financial service companies. And they will be a little bit older, gray hair like myself. So 35 years old maybe. So a little bit different. Fintech startups in general are a little bit different from marketplace or social media or other stuff.
Okay, I'd like to take this time and open up the floor to some questions. I'm pretty sure some of you or most of you have burning questions that you'd like to ask Eddie. So maybe if you have a question, you can raise up your hand, introduce your name and your company, and state your question. Anyone? Yeah, the lady in front.
Do not see crowdfunding as the strong value proposition, but many actually see it as a competitor. It is so different from the American market or the European market, where there is this whole very strong collaboration of crowdfunding together with VCs that goes to market to actually serve the business or the startups.
Okay, just to emphasize, her first question is on how VCs see crowdfunding. Eddie, any views?
I'll take the second one.
Okay, so I'll answer the first question on how VCs view crowdfunding. So for us, we don't exactly see crowdfunding as a direct competitor, as it's more complementary. Well, if a crowdfunding platform is successfully able to raise for our portfolio companies, then yes, it would definitely help the portfolio in the long run. So in response to your question, for us, no, we see crowdfunding platforms as a complementary, and it helps to also engage the ecosystem and helps to bring in individual investors who's maybe not so exposed to the VC scene or the angel investing scene, and they have some worries of making their own investments, but however, together with a crowd, together with a syndicate, they're able to put in their money and also get views on how due diligence is done on the portfolio company. So on the second question, or if...
Question, and maybe this is not a direct answer, but equity crowdfunding or crowd lending is still a very regulated market. The regulators will have regulations on this that protect the average investor, because these are not institutional investors, these are retail investors. So ourselves, we are a big fan of crowdfunding or crowd lending. We've invested in one already, open to others, because we see the bank is big, it cannot serve everybody. Indonesia is huge. How many thousand islands, 260 million population, all banks, even ourselves, we cannot cover, we cannot open a branch everywhere. So we see peer-to-peer lending as an outreach, especially for the rural and less developed areas. We can work together. We're big fans of cooperation.
Okay, thank you for the question. Is there anyone else who... Okay, I think I see two hands. This guy over here, the one in black shirt. Remember to state your name and the company you're from.
Okay, I'm Andrew from pekerjaan. For Jasmine, I want to ask you about how do you see about the access opportunity in Indonesia? Because now there's a lot of company in Indonesia that go IPO. The last one I think is Mcash.
yes.
And for Pak Edi, I want to ask, what do you think about the cryptocurrency, about the Bitcoin and the Ethereum? Do you see an investment opportunity in Bitcoin?
Okay, on the question on how I see the exit landscape in Indonesia, yes, I see in recent times it's increasingly more opportunities for tech startups, especially here, to list, be it on the Indonesian Stock Exchange or be it on the AXS or the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And recently, just yesterday, Mcash announced their stock listing, and their stocks just one night has increased by, I think, around, say, maybe 20-30%, which is a very good sign for startups and also investors. So for startups wise, there's a lot of hope for for local Indonesian startups to list on the local board, and for investors, this is where they can see the returns coming out from. So hope that answers your question.
Cryptocurrency. You want my answer or the company answer? In terms of the company answer, it's always going to go with the regulators. If the regulators are not supporting or have not yet supported or not open yet to a cryptocurrency, then the big banks and the big institutions will not. It doesn't make. Normally, they wouldn't be the first movers. They would follow. Personally, I think any disruption is good. We invested in a startup, and then 6 months later, the startup lost its CTO because the CTO suddenly wanted to do Bitcoin mining. So I think it has legs to room. I think it's good, but slowly.
Okay, in view of time, I would like to take this chance to ask Eddie the last question. So Eddie, how can startups best work with Mandiri Capital?
Know the bank, know our group, value proposition in terms of how you could potentially positively disrupt Bank Mandiri. Bank Mandiri uses vendors all the time. If we can use vendor for ABC, if you come to us and say we can help Bank Mandiri, show us something different. Show us something disruptive rather than compared to a typical vendor relationship. So we want to see that.
Okay, we'd like to thank Eddie very much for his insightful sharing and more about Mandiri Capital. Let's put our hands together to thank him.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.